friends. So I'm not sure if you struggle with paper clutter in your home, but it is definitely something that I struggled with in the past. We would have papers cluttering my desk area, my husband's desk area, the counter. And so what I want to talk through today is how I put some systems in place to eliminate that and hopefully help some of you, because I've been there. So no judgment here. Just want to be a helpful, just kind of whisper in your ear that maybe there are some options for you so you don't have to live under the stress of all your paper clutter. So I'm going to walk you through some of my tips and tricks and actually kind of clean out my command central station, which is part of my tips. So let's talk through this. The first thing that I do that is pretty common sense, but not everybody thinks about it, is I eliminate paper clutter as much as I can before it even enters the door to the house. So when we go out to the mailbox, my husband and I both do this. If we see ads, junk mail, coupons, we no longer even bring coupons in the house because we are trying to be on a budget. We know we're eating at home and not eating out, and we're not gonna use those coupons anyways. They'll just tempt us to eat out. So all of that goes right into the recycle bin that sits out near our door before we come in. And even the kids have gotten good at this. Sometimes we'll let them get the mail. They know what junk ads look like, and they'll say, hey, can I put this in the recycling bin? Yes, you can. So that's the first tip, is try and eliminate as much of the bulk as you can. That includes magazine subscriptions, newspapers. Some of that is not really necessary. Try and get as much of that out of your life as you can. Let's be honest, magazines just make us feel bad about ourselves, right? It'll either show you a nicer home than yours or a better body or this or that and make you want something else. Who needs that kind of stress and drama? Just get that out of your life, okay? And newspapers are kind of a different thing, so we can talk through that as well. All right, and then what I do, once I've eliminated my mail down to the paper and items that most have to come into the home, I have on my desk here what I call a central command station. And I'm gonna pull it out. Let's see. Oh goodness. Try and not spill everything off of it. Okay, so this is an organizer that I bought. I went out and bought this at TJ Maxx, I believe, because I needed something better. Everything I was doing was not working. So this had just a few shelves of the things I needed. And then what I did, I have a label maker, is I went and I labeled each level of this very specifically. I would recommend something you can label because it is just, I don't know, it can get out of control when you don't. So the top here is labeled bills. This part is labeled to do. This part is to use. And down here I have a label for planner. That was back when I was teaching. I had a place to store my planner. I'm not doing that anymore. So this might need to get reworked a little bit. Okay, so I come in and here's the deal. With mail, I have this rule in my head. My husband does it too. We have to open that mail, every single envelope, letter, whatever it is, within the day, okay? Usually right away. And I'm not dealing with all those items right away. I'm just opening them. And then what I do is, you know, if my husband opens them all, he usually, I'll be honest, sometimes he leaves them up on the counter. And those are places we don't want the paper clutter. So it is really easy for me now with a command central station. As I come down here, maybe I'm not ready to deal with a bill that's come or a letter or something that I have to do, and I just put it in this category. So I just slide the bills in here, slide the things that are to do in here. If there's something I need to process or deal with, it goes in the to do. If there is some kind of coupon that I will use, like sometimes the grocery store, like our local Kroger sends me coupons, those I use and I put that in the to use category. Okay, I also, when like I just had a birthday and I had several relatives give me gift cards. So all of that is right now in the to use category. And it just gives me a central place where I can put things. Now, here's my next rule. I do not go through this daily. I do not go through this every other day. Honestly, I only go through this command central spot maybe about once a week. Okay, so I know in my head once a week, and I just kind of pick the day that works for me, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna deal with everything that's in here. So even if the day the mail comes in or whatever it is, I'm not ready to deal with it then, I put it here. I know it's got a spot until I'm ready to deal with it. And then once a week, I come here and I deal with it. Okay, let's also talk school papers. So I have 2 school-age kids, and every single day they come home with lots of papers in their folders. Many of them are just things they practiced that day. My daughter's in kindergarten, so they might have practiced writing their letters. They might have practiced sight words. And so she's got all of that in her folder. And we have this time when they come home where they take it out, they're working on their homework, whatever it may be, reading, writing, something like that. And I go through the papers with them. I sit there, I look at each one, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. But here's my secret, guys. At the end of the night, when my kids are in bed, I slowly collect a little pile of all their papers through the night. It does not make it to the next day. Every single night, I recycle that pile. I do not keep it around. Now, there is an exception here. Sometimes my kids will bring home a paper that has important information on it, maybe like a weekly bulletin that has some upcoming dates. So what I do with that is I snap a picture of it with my phone. If it's a date I need to put in my calendar, I'll go ahead and do that right there, and then I add it to the recycle pile. If it's something I really need to keep, like a permission slip or something that needs to be returned, but maybe not the next day, it goes in this to-do category so I can deal with it later, but the rest gets recycled. Now you may say, but Morgan, what about all those precious pieces of artwork your kids make? All the beautiful art pieces, how could you ever throw that away? What if your 2-year-old makes this Van Gogh painting and she wants you to hang it on the fridge? Do you recycle that? Okay, so here's how I deal with this. Our kids in the scope of one school year are gonna bring home tons of artwork. I mean, my kids are making stuff every day, every other day, etc. Occasionally, something really nice comes home, something really unique or awesome. And what I like to do at that point, I kind of talk with my kid, make sure it means something to them, and it goes one of 2 places. It can either go on my fridge, or I have a secondary command station that is really, it's a secondary filing system. This is a more permanent storage place for things that I've dealt with here. So let's say I got something in the mail, like a medical form that I need to keep. I don't know when I'll need it again. Then I go to my filing system down here and I open up my medical folder, I put it in, and that's where it stays. So I do the same with their artwork. Okay, when a beautiful art piece comes in, I will usually keep it on the fridge, maybe for a couple days or a week, and then I remove it and I put it in this file folder that I have for each of the kids that has their name and it says school. I also have one for each of them that has their name and it says medical, for when I want to store forms about their medical information. Now, this is not where it stays forever. So here's the deal. I learned from another YouTuber this concept of legacy boxes. And the idea is that each kid has a box that as they grow, you put things that are really special to them in it. But the box is the limit. So whatever container size you choose, that's the max that goes in there. So as they grow or as the years go by and they want to add more and more stuff, they're going to have to make decisions about what to keep and what to put out of the legacy box. And I want you to think about this now as an adult. Have your parents ever passed on a box of stuff from your childhood to you? Okay, how much of that do you really want to keep around forever? How much of that do you really value? My parents gave me a box like that. There's a few things in it that are really neat and I probably want to keep around. I may want to share with my kids. Majority of it doesn't mean much to me anymore, and I could honestly probably let go of. But as an adult, we don't want to burden our kids with boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff we kept from their childhood, okay? we want to give them maybe the highlights, the best parts. And so at the end of each school year, when my kids have put artwork into this folder all year round, maybe the best pieces, we'll go through that folder. We will pick out maybe their top 5 favorites from the year. I mean, it doesn't have to be an exact number. You can increase, decrease that, whatever works with your kid. And we'll put it in this legacy box. And then the rest of the artwork that's left over, you could either sneakily recycle that later so your kid doesn't have to see you throwing it in the trash, or some other creative ideas are you can have your kid write a letter or draw something and send it to grandparents, which they'll love getting that in the mail, or even write thank you notes to teachers for your child for teaching them all school year, and send it on the back of that drawing from that year. So just some ideas for what you can do with that. But the idea is that your kid will have a legacy box with a few pictures from each year that they love, and they keep it in there. I've even seen people turn those pictures digital and they put them in like a photo album that they later print for their kids. There's lots of options here. I don't have the bandwidth to do all that. It's easier for me to just take the picture and put it in a box right now. Maybe someday, if I was really creative, I could scan all their stuff when they're done with high school and make them a little album. I don't know. But the legacy box is a great option to know, okay, this is the limit, the container's the limit. All right, something else that comes in as paper clutter is, and I don't want to call it clutter, it's important, but we often don't know what to do with it, is cards. When people give you cards for holidays and birthdays and all of that, same concept. The legacy box is where they go from my kids. And I have them make decisions. We kind of look at the cards. If somebody wrote a really long or beautiful note, that card can go in the legacy box if my kid chooses, or I choose. And anything else, recycled. You enjoyed it for the event's over, let it go. You don't have to feel guilt keeping all those cards, okay? So all that paper clutter around is just extra stress on you. All right, and then finally, I want to go through my own command center right here and just show you kind of what the process looks like on the day when I'm actually processing things. So once a week, I sit down with this and I start pulling out things and I need to go through them. So actually up top, I've got things kind of out of order right here. So I'm gonna fix that. I have this up here in bills because it was big and I didn't know where to stick it, but it's kind of a to-do. So I just got this for my birthday. My mother-in-law just bought me this really awesome Pioneer Woman meal planner. It's brand new. So this really needs to find a space, so I'm going through this. What I'm gonna do, the day I deal with this stuff, I deal with it. I have to make a decision about this item, where it will reside, where it's gonna go. So for me, I'm gonna put this in my kitchen, okay? Checkbook stays up here with bills in case we need it. This is also just a notepad I use just to make notes to myself. It goes down in the planner section. Okay, next in my to-dos. So this is actually something the hospital sent me. It was a survey from having the baby. This needs to go out to the mailbox. So I will stop what I'm doing and I'm gonna go put this away and this away. And then before I go kind of running around the house, let me show you some other examples. For my birthday, my awesome sister-in-law, I'm just gonna give a shout out to Macrame by Mackenzie. She's on Instagram. She's got an Etsy shop. She's amazing, but she just made me this macrame cross for my Christmas tree. So I need to go put that down in the Christmas items. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, so it's in my to-do list, okay? Also, let's see. We have our bills in here. Some of these we are not able to pay yet. We're waiting on insurance to process. So for me, dealing with these is pulling them out, double checking, and if not, it goes back in the bill section. And then the ones that I can pay on, I'm gonna go ahead and like make payments. Why we have so many paper bills right now, I will say that's another thing to eliminate paper clutter. almost every single one of our bills is electronic. They're just pulled automatically out of our account. I would highly recommend that. But right now I just had a baby. So we have all these brand new fun medical bills coming in that we're making sure has run through insurance because he's new and he has to get added. So we're processing a lot more paper bills than normal. Usually this bill section is empty because it's all done electronically. Okay, the next thing in here is my son has some multiplication cards that he needs for school to practice nightly. If these are something that I need to keep out and use regularly, I could keep them in my to-do section because it's something I'm gonna pull out regularly to do, or I could go ahead and file these in his school folder. I'm gonna keep these in my to-do section because for me, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind and I forget. So things that I need to do regularly with my kids, I keep here because then I'm constantly reminding myself every week, oh, okay, I need to do this with him. This is a care plan for my son from the lactation consultant. I don't need this anymore because I've gone back to see her, so this will get recycled. These are things where you can order your children's art. Now it's interesting. Okay, these both had to be ordered by 11:04. Whoops. So I missed the deadline on these. I am gonna check in just a second if I can still do this. If I can't, then, sorry, recycle. Or I can also just keep the artwork itself because it's got a picture of their artwork and their name on it and put this in their school folder. All right, to use, I have gift cards in here. Usually I go and put most of the gift cards in my wallet because I forget when I'm out and I won't ever use them if they're not with me when I'm out in the stores. But I have some extra gift cards here that I bought. These are for Christmas that I'm giving some relatives. So they're actually gonna stay in this section until I can wrap it in like a little card. Okay, for somebody. All right, so this is where I pull out coupons. I check if they've expired or if they're still good. Then I move them to my wallet so I can remember to use them. Let's see, this one is $7.50 off of 75 or more at Kroger. It expires on the 20th. Okay, so this one, I probably won't be using this because we mainly shop at Aldi's. I need to put this in my purse to give to my mom because she's hosting Thanksgiving and they could use this when they're buying the turkey or the sides for all of it. So I'm gonna go place that. And then this needs to be filed away in our debt thing. This is a picture I made of our very last debt. We've been doing the Dave Ramsey Snowball and we have my husband's student loans. Or loan, I should say. It's one last debt. And so what I did is I made a visual with balloons for every payment we have left to make on it. And once those are done, we will have it paid off. And I marked out how many months we have. So I'm gonna put this in our paid debt folder, which is down there to come back to. This is recent. We just took our son to have his lip and tongue tie lasered off at a pediatric dentistry place, and I need to file this away in his medical folder, so that's gonna go there. Okay, finally in the bottom here we have some DVDs that my mother-in-law made. All of these need to go get put in our DVD bucket in the basement. So I'm gonna go do all of these tasks, but I'm gonna leave you with this, which is what's left of my command center when I walk through it. Hopefully that helped you kind of see where I go and put things. But when this is done, and once I file these things, my paper clutter is gone. I don't have papers on any counter, any surface. I won't have things waiting around like a silent to-do list for me to take care of. It's just done. All right, so I hope that helped. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to tune in for more videos on our channel, Life in Lilacs. Bye, everybody.
Hey, Buggy. Did you just finish eating?
This is Elam. It is Thursday, and he got his tongue and lip dye removed on Tuesday. So he's been struggling the last couple days, just a little bit. Poor guy. He just finished eating. He's kind of in a daze. His lip's been a little bit swollen, more than normal. But now he's just staring at Mama, so sweet. Yeah. So we'll get through this. 3 weeks of stretching out his lip and his tongue. Good boy. So that we don't have feeding issues anymore, and he won't have speech issues as he gets older. Yeah. Hi, sweet baby. Hi, sweet boy.